Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. It's episode 284, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. I'm Zachy Hassan. I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
Hey. It's going. So I'm on a diet right now. I don't know if you knew this.
So not well.
I have to say, in our recent episode, I think it was the first one after the break, I was talking about how, I had wanted to join a gym and it was like kind of expensive. And this is a testament to our listeners. I have to say, I had, Mike Snyder reached out to me. He's like, hey, you should try this gym. And Maddie Feck reached out to me. He's like, hey, you should try doing this. I mean, it's like people listen, right? Which is nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's cool that people are eager to like share the things that work for them, That's
well, I have to. I mean, Maddie Feck is like a model of fitness. I've watched his fitness journey over the last couple of years. Same. So he is an inspiration. So anything he has to say, I'm like, tell me more. And also, Pervez Ahmed, who listens to the show, also he reached out. He's like, hey, are you? Usually you're just effing around when you talk about getting fit. But
he said that to you.
He said, yeah. But this time. He knows me well.
He knows you.
Something sounded different in your voice. Are you serious? And I said, I am serious. And he's like, all right, meet with me. I'm gonna make you a meal plan. I'm gonna make you a workout plan. We're gonna do this. I was like, totally, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Brian, you'd be proud of me. I've been very diligent. I've been sticking. He made a meal plan for me. It's eliminated dairy, eliminated sugar. I'm all about protein, and it's working. On the Zachy Hassan scale, it's working, right?
That's amazing. Yeah.
However, it has been an adjustment, and the biggest one is that he said I have to be pounding down about 100 ounces of water a day.
Wow. So I know that's a thing, right? Like a certain amount of water to consume a day. So what is the purpose of that?
I guess it's a couple of things actually. Number one, when you're constantly drinking water, you feel full, so you have less of an urge to eat. Mm-hmm. Right, so you're less likely to seek out like stuff that's bad for you, right? Which is good.
Right.
The other thing is like you're cleaning out impurities,
Right.
I've been drinking so much water that when I go to, it's like Crystal Pepsi coming out of my wiener.
Nice.
It's ridiculous.
The choice of a new generation. Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. But I will tell you, it's been an adjustment because what I've realized is I'm drinking so much water, I have to constantly be near a bathroom.
Really?
And that's okay. So here's what happened. Like my schedule, normally I have classes in the morning. I come home for a little while and then I have classes in the afternoon. So I'm like, I'm behind on my water. So I chugged down a whole bottle, 30 ounces. I just chugged it down.
Wow.
And this is like an hour before I went. So I went to the bathroom a couple of times. I was like, okay, I think I'm good. I leave for school and turns out I did not go enough times.
Okay.
So now I'm driving to school and I'm like, I got to go.
Right.
And of course, it's only when you have to go that you hit every single red light. A train is in front of you, everything, right?
Yes.
Drip, drip, drip. So now I'm reaching, so I'm about 10 minutes away from class. And here's where I'm at, Brian. It was at a point where it wasn't like I got to get to school fast so I can go to the bathroom. It was like, I'm going to pee my pants.
Yeah.
And how am I going to teach my class? Like I was already there. I was in the triage phase.
Yeah. I've been there, man. You're like giving me. Yeah. Yeah.
Having peed my pants, what will I do next in front of my class? That was I was already gaming out options there. Luckily I made it somehow.
Right.
But it was a brutal, several miles.
Well, I'm glad you made it. But is that, how frequently throughout the day? Is it just constant? You're always feeling like you have to go? Is it just like this new sort of pee schedule for you now? Obviously more, but it's like a real deal every hour kind of thing for you. Like you're just pounding it down and peeing it out.
Okay, so one thing I've learned is probably chugging down a 30-ounce bottle is not the way to go.
Sure.
So that's that's one lesson learned. So I'm kind of gaming it out and figuring it out, but I'm getting there. But definitely that sense of like, okay, clearly this particular scenario is not manageable.
These are growing pains, right? This is we laugh about this in a couple months once you have the regimen down.
Yeah. So, but again, I will say, I feel better. So I feel good about it.
Dude, that's great. So obviously, I mean, like the scale, like you said, is reflecting the changes. But like, how do you feel? Do you feel different?
I do. I'll tell you. The one thing is that I found anyway, and I wouldn't say my eating habits were particularly noxious, but I mean, it wasn't great, but like you get rid of some of these things and you do just generally feel better,
Right. Sure.
So, props to Pervez and props to our listeners, honestly, because this is my goal for this year. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to stick to it. So now that I've put it on wax over here, I feel like I'm accountable to everybody listening now.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say you're probably inspiring a lot of people, and I have to say you're inspiring me, because I mean, there was a period of time where I was keeping track of all this stuff, and then it's just like, well, it's the holidays, or it's like, well, I'm on vacation, and then you have too many of these cheat excuses, and then you just get off of that, right? So it's like,
right,
this is good. You're making me want to get back to it.
Yeah, I mean, this is just sort of like I think honestly the hardest thing that I had to say goodbye to was like sugary cereals.
Oh, sure.
And again, it's not like I eat Fruity Pebbles for breakfast or whatever, but like even stuff like, I don't know, Frosted Mini Wheats and stuff, just had to get rid of all of that.
Right.
So that was probably the biggest. Oh, and like I said, no dairy, get rid of that.
That's like a big one, right? I mean, that's used so much, and so many things you just don't think about. Not the obvious ones like ice cream or something.
So don't you love how on our movie podcast we're talking about foods to eliminate from your diet?
Yes, yeah.
We took a turn early. Sorry, folks.
No, well, this is interesting for me to know, and like I said, this is good for me. Like, I really do think I'm going to take this as inspiration, as a cue to start making some changes over here as well.
Yeah, Brian, get to it. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, honestly.
You know what the biggest one for me, I'll just say real quick, was letting go of soda.
Yeah, sure.
Like like for years, wherever I worked, there was always a stocked refrigerator of just anything you want, right? And so I just got used to the idea of like, well, it's the afternoon, I have my afternoon Coke. And at some point, you watch these videos and they show you like a demonstration of how much sugar is in one can of Coke, and it's so depressing. So I was like, okay, like I've got to give up soda. So like now I'm still pretty good about it. The only time I have soda is when I go to the movies, actually.
Yeah.
So that's like my little present to myself.
I had a student do a persuasive speech about why you should stop drinking soda, and it persuaded me.
Yeah.
And it was that they were like, here's how much sugar, and they had like a little sugar dish, and they just like teaspoon. It was like this little pile that you could ski off of by the end of it.
Man, yeah.
And I could feel my teeth just like shriveling up and falling out of my mouth just looking at that pile of sugar,
Yeah.
And that's what did it. And kind of same as you every once in a blue moon. Hardest for me, honestly, bread. He was like, no bread.
Wow. Yeah, that would be a big change.
So for me, no sandwiches, no pizza. That's been really, really challenging.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it carbs too? Sorry, I know we're going on and on about this, but like, is it like? I mean, like pasta, all that, or?
Yeah. So, no pasta. Only brown rice. Mostly protein. Yeah.
Okay.
But hey, I've been. It's been a couple weeks. I feel okay, and I feel healthier. So for whatever that's worth, if in our next regular show, if I'm crying and swearing,
we'll keep tabs week to week.
Yeah, we'll know it's not going too well. So fingers crossed on that. Anyway, what have you been up to?
Well, I finally caught up on some movies I'd been wanting to check out for a while. First things first, I finally saw Poor Things, Yorgos Lanthimos' latest movie, nominated for Best Picture, Emma Stone up for Best Actress.
I haven't seen this one. What'd you think of it?
You know, I really enjoyed this movie. I mean, it's a lot of movie. There's a lot going on here. It's pretty provocative. It's very in your face. But I got pretty swept up in it, and it's a movie that I mean, after I walked out of the theater, I mean, I was thinking about it for days. There was a lot of imagery and feelings and things that just really grabbed a hold of me and stuck with me.
This is like a Frankenstein riff.
Basically, yeah. The plot is Emma Stone plays a character named Bella, who is like a Frankenstein's monster type of character, right? And so she's been created, so to speak, by Willem Dafoe. And she begins the movie as a woman in a woman's body, but she has the mind of essentially a toddler. So the movie starts and she can't speak very well, and she's having a hard time walking. She stumbles around the place, takes plates and smashes them on the ground and giggles with glee. But as her body stays the same, her mind starts aging rapidly, and eventually she becomes sort of like a teenager, and she discovers her sexuality. You know, all about like base pleasures and stuffing her face with food that she loves and spitting out food if she doesn't like it, even though, you know, that's kind of rude in public. She doesn't care, like, because she only cares about what pleases her. And then as she continues to evolve more, eventually she becomes interested in the world around her and the people of the world. And she wants to read and learn about philosophy and expand her mind. And it's basically this movie about this woman on this journey, making her way through the world and learning about herself and the world around her. And all the while, there are these men, beginning with the creator character and eventually this sort of Lothario character played by Mark Ruffalo, who are, you know, attempting to steer her in the directions they want her to go in, or to keep her from this, or to persuade her to do that, and to too often take advantage of her, all while she's just trying to make her own way. Yeah, I mean, this is a crazy movie. I mean, it's there's a lot going on here. I mean, first of all, I mean, the whole thing takes place. The setting is in this unexplained steampunk London, and so even that, I mean, you have these insane visuals of these sort of zeppelins in the sky and these sort of steampunky ships and carriages and whatnot. And then just the filmmaking itself is pretty wild. Mm-hmm. Telling this story, you know, Lanthimos uses a lot of fisheye lenses, which distorts the image and makes you feel like everything is sort of disorienting and throws you off balance. And, you know, all in the name of getting you on board with how out of step and disoriented Bella must feel as she's experiencing all these new things. And
interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, again, being a Lanthimos movie, I mean, it's pretty in your face. It's pretty provocative. I mean, there's like a lot of graphic sex in this movie. Like, this isn't something you're going to watch at Thanksgiving with the family. But all of it together, you know, it's in this package of just going with this woman on this journey and of self-discovery. And I found myself really captivated the whole way through. I mean, of course, the vision of the film is pretty amazing, but I mean, Emma Stone is just absolutely amazing as this character. And you're really, you know, you become connected with her, and you're rooting for her and laughing with her and cheering for her as she grows and comes into her own. So yeah, I mean, again, very provocative, a lot of movie.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be for everyone. It's kind of challenging just with its content and its visuals and everything else. But but I did want to mention actually a friend of mine, a female friend of mine. We were talking about the movie on Instagram, and I wanted to read what she said just to give another perspective, maybe more importantly, a woman's perspective on the movie, as it is about a woman's journey and, coming to her own. But this was her perspective on it. She said, I have to admit that I did like the visuals and I did think some of the dialogue was funny, but overall, it's this tale of female empowerment told from the male gaze that didn't make a point about anything. I'll excuse a lot of stuff if I liked it, but the movie didn't sit well with me. While watching, I was trying to figure out if it's me, which is possible, or if it's an Emperor's New Clothes situation where everyone thinks they should be in awe of this film.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I just want to mention that because I thought it was worth throwing that perspective out there as well.
Yeah.
And I totally understand. I actually think that's really valid, and it did make me rethink a few things that did sort of prick my brain a little bit while I was watching it. For example, I mean, you are seeing the whole movie, this character in the body of Emma Stone, this full-grown woman. However, in the moments where she's becoming sexually active, she's presumably like a young teenager, and that's when men begin trying to take advantage of her. And she chooses to be with these men, but they are clearly, I think the movie makes it clear that they are being very manipulative with her, and it's a bit icky when you really think about it. So yeah, I think that's a really valid perspective. And honestly, I look forward to seeing the movie again because Federica wasn't able to join me for this and she wants to see it. And so I'm sure I'll see it again at some point. And I'll probably be able to crystallize some of those thoughts just a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But I have to say, for my first viewing of it, I was pretty swept up by it and pretty captivated by it. So it was just one of those, I don't even know what to compare it to types of movies. And those are always just very exciting. But there's a lot to think about. I mean, like I said, it's a very provocative movie. It's definitely not for everybody. And there's a lot to chew on with it. And I'm pretty sure I will watch it again. And I look forward to re-examining it and seeing how I feel on another viewing.
Maybe by then I'll have seen it and we can revisit the topic.
Yeah, I'd really look forward to hearing what you think. And finally, I watched a documentary called "The Greatest Night in Pop" on Netflix. Have you heard of this?
It's in my queue. I got it. It's taunting me. It's teasing me. I'm trying to find the time to watch it.
Oh man, this thing is great. So basically, it's about the making of the song and the music video for "We Are the World," which was a song that was written by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie, created to raise money for famine relief in Africa.
Right.
And the whole conceit was they would write this song and they would get the biggest musicians in the world at the time in 1985 to all come together and record this song, all be a part of it. So I mean, like Bruce Springsteen, Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, Bob Dylan, Cyndi Lauper, Huey Lewis, all these people. Dan Aykroyd, for some reason, is there. And so you begin with, well, first of all, we got to write the song. How do you write, you have a limited amount of time. How do you write something that's immediately something that the whole world is going to want to buy, first of all, to raise all this money. But then on top of that you could get all of those celebrities to want to be a part of. It's got to be great. Mm-hmm. And of course, as we all know, they do it. But hearing Lionel Richie tell the story is really amazing. And then the craziest part of all is, how do you get like 40 of the biggest superstars in the world all together in one room at the same time? Because that's the only way they can record this song. And I mean, you have people who are on tour across the world, all over the place, spread out. So how do you get them all together? I'll watch the documentary and you'll find out, but it's pretty clever. But then once you get all those people in a room, you've got a whole lot of egos. You've got a whole lot of creativity. I mean, people are going to hear this song and have notes. What if we try this? What if we do that? And so it's left up to Lionel Richie to wrangle all of these people who have a lot of opinions. it's up to him to keep it all together so they can record this song in one night, because they have till sunup and that's it to record the song and have the music video. And then all these people go their separate ways across the planet, and they'll never be able to do this again. So it ends up becoming, it almost feels like a heist movie in a way, the way that they have to, there's so many moving pieces and so much that needs to get done. And the amazing part of it is they have footage of all of this. So we get to be a fly on the wall to this whole undertaking. And I mean, you get comedy from people who, like I say, have notes and want to change things, and sort of the stress of like trying to diffuse those sort of situations. And then you have these kind of heartwarming, stressful moments where specifically like Huey Lewis is given a solo in the song that he didn't know he was going to do when he walked in. And he tells the story about how nervous he was. And as you're watching the actual footage leading up to him doing this, we know how he's feeling because he's telling us, and you just get to live that tension and then that triumph with him as he pulls it off. And it's this amazing part of the song. This documentary is a blast. I really think, whether you're familiar with the song or not, I think almost everyone would enjoy this. So yeah, I highly recommend The Greatest Night in Pop on Netflix.
Yeah, I've been hearing good stuff. I've been hearing good things about it. I'm hoping that this will lead to a documentary about We're Sending Our Love Down the Well.
Dude, right after we finished watching it, that was the first thing I queued up.
Really?
Yeah, I went straight to YouTube and pulled that up because I just wanted to see, because Sting wasn't a part of this one, but it's like, yeah, all the artists in Springfield.
Maybe we can get the Super Bowl Shuffle documentary.
Actually, I can't see that, appealing to as many people, but someone's got to do that at some point, or there has to be like a 30 for 30 or something about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd watch the shit out of that.
So yeah, what about you?
Not as recent. I kind of dipped into the archives a little bit. A couple of things. Number one, I revisited Tucker, the Man and His Dream.
Wow. Yeah, I remember my family renting that on VHS when I was young.
Wow. So I ended up going. I mean, it had been several decades since I saw it, and somebody who listens to the show, and gosh, I wish I could remember, it kind of put in my ear. Oh, Tucker is a great movie. I think when I was talking about The Godfather, I can't remember, but yeah, I was looking for something to watch with the boys, and I just watched The Godfather with Hamza.
Okay.
Which, like, he had never seen it.
Oh wow! What do you think?
And that was, he loved it.
Yeah.
Which was like, it's cool because, we just, in the last several months, we watched Breaking Bad, right? And Breaking Bad is very much a Godfather-esque story, right?
Sure. Like a crime saga.
So it was kind of, about a good man becoming a bad man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so getting to watch the film, and again, I mean, this, I know every frame of The Godfather. So for me, it was more about like experiencing it with him and having that conversation. So anyway, that was fun. So after that, it's like, we're kind of in a Francis Coppola mood. So I put on Tucker, and this is, for those of you who don't know, this is 1988, produced by Lucasfilm, starring Jeff Bridges, and it's about this car that was gonna change the industry, but the industry worked to kill it. Because essentially, it threatened to put the big three out of business. And yet many of the innovations that came in with the Tucker car are now sort of standard, seat belts and things like that. And so it's kind of, the film itself is really interesting because the character Preston Tucker is somewhat of a cipher. Like, we don't really get into his head. And I feel like that's something I would have liked, but Jeff Bridges is so charismatic that you almost don't mind. Like, his persona is so well established that you're on board just because it's Jeff Bridges. You know what I mean?
Right.
And what's kind of funny is you have Lloyd Bridges playing like the senator who's conspiring against him. So it's like the father and son are each other's antagonists.
That's funny.
But it's a beautiful movie. I mean, it looks gorgeous. Vittorio Storaro cinematography. And it's kind of like this little hidden gem, you know. I mean, it's a hidden Coppola gem. It's a hidden Lucasfilm gem, you know.
It's funny, yeah. It doesn't come up very often these days, right? Yeah. But, yeah. Well, you're making me. I mean, I'm in the mood for a story like that, like a little slice of history that I may not know a lot about. I mean, I haven't, like I said, I haven't seen it since I was a kid, so I remember very little about it.
Yeah, and the cast is crazy. I mean, it's a terrific cast. You got Dean Stockwell is in there as Howard Hughes. He's no Terry O'Quinn, I grant you. But,
sure.
He does the job. Christian Slater, a very young Christian Slater, plays his son, and Joan Allen and what's his name? Casey Jones. What's his name? Elias Koteas. He's in there. Great. I mean, it's very enjoyable. You know, it's not earth shattering, I don't think, but with the caliber of people involved, it's a solid couple hours of entertainment, I'll say.
Great. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, this past weekend I revisited The 13th Warrior.
You know, I've never seen that. Who directed that?
So that's John McTiernan that came out in fall of '99. Yeah, it was a famous kind of a mess because when it came out, it was after 2 years sitting on a shelf or in a drawer. Mm-hmm. Pick your metaphor. Essentially, you know, it's based on a Michael Crichton novel, Eaters of the Dead.
Okay.
And it's essentially Crichton wanted to do like his version of Beowulf. And he tells the story of Beowulf through the perspective of an Arab poet who was a real person whose name was Ibn Fahdalan, who is dropped into this fictional story, and so that's the premise of the book, which is then adapted into the film. So McTiernan directs the movie. Antonio Banderas stars as Ibn Fahdalan. And essentially, McTiernan and Crichton had a conflict in terms of how best to approach this story. And Crichton won out because he had more brand recognition, you know?
Sure.
And of course, he had been a director. He had directed movies, right? So he essentially took over and did reshoots. And so what you have is kind of a Frankenstein monster of a thing, which, you know, by way of backstory, I remember going to see this opening night in whatever it was, summer or fall of '99. I went with Paul Shirey. and this we talk about this all the time because this was at the AMC in Warrenville, and this is pre, you know, reserved seating. It's just you got to get there and hold seats. So we're expecting a party of like friggin' 10 or whatever it is, and it's just him and me trying to hold down a row, doing kung fu, trying to keep people away.
Yeah.
You know, stripping off articles of clothing to you know, get your seats.
Right.
People are walking socks by, cussing at you. Yeah, it was ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
I was down to my boxers by the end of it, you know? And so that's like a very distinct memory. And I remember watching it opening night and being very nonplussed. I wasn't particularly blown away by it. However, Paul absolutely loved it. In the years since, I've revisited it periodically, and I think it is flawed, but I think it's a fascinating film that I do think is better than its reputation.
Okay. Well, I mean, Tiernan, I know certainly to our eye, has such a distinct style. I mean, do you see that going in and out throughout the film as it's co-directed, so to speak?
It's definitely got his style, and it's very tactile, which I always appreciate. But you can, I mean, it's about an hour and 40 minutes.
Okay. And
you can tell that they chopped out, you know, like the whole opening sequence is like, it starts with this Viking boat, and then we come in on Banderas and we hear his narration. And he's like, my name is, you know, Ahmad ibn Fahdalan, and he has this long name. He's like, it was not always thus. And then we get like this montage, you know, and it's almost the equivalent of, yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how.
Yeah.
It's and there's this that we montage through like how we ended up on the boat, and I'm like, this feels like they just like you can see the scissor marks on the frame.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there is a McTiernan edit somewhere out there. I would certainly love to see it. Especially, I mean, Crichton's gone at this point. It's not like he's got any, he can't prevent it,
Sure.
But despite all that, I think it's well made. I think Banderas, obviously, I mean, when we talked through Zorro, that was sort of the conversation you and I had. I was like, this guy just has charisma, right? And then just on a personal level, what appealed to me about it back then is something that means even more to me now. It's you have a Muslim main character who, at a time, this is 1999, that was not common at all.
Yeah.
Where he's the focus of the film, and more important, at least to me, like he's somebody who, he holds to his faith, and that's an essential aspect of his character, and it's something that he deals with pride, and I'm like, it's just unheard of,
Yeah, it's very unique.
Yeah, and so I was Miku was like, oh, but Antonio Banderas is playing him. I'm like, look, man, we took what we could get back then.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, whatever, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman played a Saracen in Robin Hood. I'm pretty sure he's not ethnically appropriate either, or it isn't the right nationality, but whatever.
Sure.
I don't care that much, but I enjoyed it. I think, like I said, I've seen it since opening night a handful of times, but I mean, the movie's 25 years old at this point. All of this, Brian, is a very long-winded way of saying that as I was watching, I texted Paul. I was like, hey man, I'm watching that 25 years ago. I watched this with you, and yada yada. We're gonna do a commentary track for on his Arctic Ninja network for the 13th.
Oh, cool.
So that's how that happened.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So look for that soon.
Yeah, well, I'll check out the film so I can be up to date and enjoy that.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, with that, let's take another short break, and we'll come back. We got a whole slew of listener letters in the last couple weeks. And we're back, and hey, Brian, I'm going to pop open the old mailbag here.
Let's do it.
So here's a note we got from Thomas Olson, who emailed us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. And he says, hey, fellas, as always, thank you so much for always putting out outstanding episodes. They're truly a bright spot and joy in my life, especially that Last Jedi commentary. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm glad.
He says, I've got a few quick questions. First, what would you say are some of your favorite movie-going experiences, and do you have any special memories with them? Second, what would you say were some of your favorite movies from 2023? Lastly, if I can make a request for a commentary, how about the Masters of the Universe movie? Brian, it's only 90 minutes.
That's hilarious.
So let me tackle the last one first. We are for sure going to do Masters of the Universe at some point.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. I whenever that's on cable, I stop on it. It's not, I can't say it's like a beloved childhood artifact for me, but it is something that I loved. He-Man, the cartoon. So I am definitely endeared to He-Man, and the movie remains something maybe I've seen all the way through like twice or something, but it's still like has that curiosity factor for me because it's so wacky and, I'm into that.
Yeah, I think if anything, we may sit on it for a couple of years because the 40th anniversary is coming up in 2027. So I feel like, well, that might be the moment.
Sounds good to me.
Finally make that happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you may have to wait a little bit, Thomas, but we will get there. That is my promise.
Yep.
Now, as first of all, the comments on our Last Jedi commentary, always, man, I know the amount of nerves you had, Brian, going into that.
Yeah, it just felt like a standing at the foot of a mountain I was about to climb, because obviously we could have a conversation about it, you and I, if we were just out for coffee somewhere. But it was like putting it on the record. We've got the film playing in front of us. Like, what's that conversation going to be? I have to admit, I was a little daunted, but I had a lot of fun doing it.
Well, it's in the rear view now, so that's got to feel comforting.
Yeah.
But that said, favorite movie going experience. I'm curious about you, Brian.
Man, I mean, there's so many. It's like we've talked about. I have so many memories tied with certain movies, and going out to see them. Honestly, the very first one that came to mind was Jurassic Park. I remember it came out when I was 13 years old. My brother was 11. And we were standing in line. I'll never forget that. I've told this story before, but we were standing in line. You could hear it through the walls. This is like you were speaking of, you didn't have your reserved seat. So you had to show up, get in line, try to get the best seat possible. And as we're standing there, the previous screening, all the people who attended are exiting. And my brother was starting to get nervous. He's still like a little young at this point, right? And so he asks somebody, will I pee my pants? He said that to a guy walking out, and the guy turns to him and goes, "You might." I don't know. And then that summer, my brother and I went back. We saw it 8 times that summer. So that was I have many. Like Back to the Future was very, very memorable, informative. E.T. was the first one I ever saw, and I still remember what that felt like. But yeah, my mind goes first to being with my brother and the summer of Jurassic Park. So how about yourself?
It's really funny. I'll reiterate something I said to you not that long ago. And this is recent, but getting to watch Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny a couple weeks early with you is like a new core memory for me.
Oh man. That was so special. I mean, and that's the thing too. It's like the movie is one thing, but it's like the story behind it, that's happening in real life, where you out of the blue were like, hey, I have this opportunity to see Dial of Destiny like a month early. How quickly can you get to San Francisco? And I was like, let me gas up the car and I'll be on my way.
So that really like that whole and it was quite a whirlwind 24 hours, but that was really something special for me in terms of definitely. It's funny because Thomas mentioned Masters of the Universe. I remember going to see that in the theater. I went to West Edmonton Mall in 1987. Me and my brother, we were just dropped off, and I think about that a little bit too because my brother would have been 12, and I was 7. And I can't imagine dropping off. That's like my daughter. My daughter is 7,
right.
And my third kid, he's 12. I'd be like, just drop him at the movie theater. I'll get you in a couple hours. Like I can't even imagine doing that.
It's crazy, but we did it. We did it
all the time. Yeah. We did it all the time. So that's definitely something special for me. And watching the two things actually. Number one, watching the first Avengers was just like one of these. I went midnight the night that it opened. One of the last times I went to a midnight movie was 2012 for that.
Yeah.
And that was it. I always say this, like it was like I'm seeing something come to life that I never in a million years would have imagined could ever be.
Yep.
And that's it's funny because now people talk about the first Avengers and like, oh, it's like passé compared to everything that's happened since. And I'm like, that movie starts and the first few chords of Alan Silvestri's music kick in, and I'm like, man, I'm back to in the theater at midnight, And then related to that, when I watched Endgame, I went to the press screening of that, and I went with Sean. And that was like, just again, it was like a culmination of the, whatever that was, the that whole experience, and then we got to experience that together. So again, yeah, it's and one other thing I forgot to mention, Independence Day. When I went to see Independence Day at Stratford Square, me and my brother, we went, and it was July 4th, I believe. And that was the first time I went to a movie where the crowd was like into it and cheering and applauding, everything like that. And like
Right.
I remember when Bill Pullman gives a speech, everybody bust out in applause and stuff. It was the first time I'd ever gone to a movie where like the crowd was fully engaged and it was like an interactive experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I don't remember it as well, but I do remember seeing that because I have family in Oklahoma, and I remember my dad and my brother and I like snuck away and we went and saw it together. So it's like I have a memory tied with it too. It's so funny. Yeah. You know what I love though? A lot of the ones that are coming to my mind are older things, the things that come, first. But it's fun when you were talking about Avengers and Endgame. I was like, I think as we get older, we feel like we're going to have less of those experiences, but it's so cool that they still happen. Like I think when Force Awakens came out, I remember that being a really special day. I remember being at work. Everybody was wearing Star Wars shirts, new Star Wars, a Star Wars sequel, and that was just such an event. And I, probably at the time I thought, well, we're not going to get another one of these. I mean, we'll get more sequels, but nothing like the first time with this. And then years later, we get a huge event movie like Endgame that we all have memories tied with. So it kind of makes me excited. I can't predict what it'll be next, but I'm excited to see what that thing will be that surprises us, down the road.
Yeah, very, very true. Yeah. And then Thomas also asked about, we didn't do like a traditional best of 2023 episode.
No, we haven't done one of those in a couple of years.
Yeah, the pandemic kind of screwed us up, honestly, because that was, I think that I'm just going to blame that.
Yeah.
We should get back to that at some point, right?
I love doing it. I like kind of reflecting back on the year and seeing what certain things make an impression on you, but what lasts, so it's kind of fun.
2024, we'll do that. We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
But as far as stuff from this past year, I don't know what is the stuff that lasted for you.
Oppenheimer, definitely. The Holdovers made a big impression on me. Killers of the Flower Moon. Most recently, Past Lives. That was 2023. But man, that was a really good movie. Past Lives, definitely recommend that. Godzilla -1.
Yep.
Yeah, how about you?
I'll co-sign the ones you said, although I haven't seen the Holdovers yet. But Air is one of my favorite movies from last year.
Yeah, that was good.
I just really liked that one. Like, as time has gone by, that's definitely one that has stayed with me. I've watched it a couple of times since we talked about it on the show, and it's just a really good movie.
Yeah, that was good.
But yeah, so thank you, Thomas, for that.
Yeah.
We also, Brian, we got a whole host of letters in response to our She's All That commentary.
Yes.
Which makes me feel pretty good about you having really pushed for that. So
I thought the second you suggested it, I knew it was a brilliant idea because, like, I mean, we watch all manner of films, but sometimes I think we can be a little narrow in the things that we cover. And I thought we really blew it up with that one, and it was so rewarding to see all the responses to that.
Well, with that in mind, here's a note we got from Adamo, who says, like the two of you talked about, I remember She's All That without really remembering it. Other than the stunning Rachel Lee Cook coming down the stairs and the "Am I a effing bet" scene. However, your commentary did bring back a flood of memories from a very specific part of time in my life. I spent the first part of '99 in the Great Lakes, North Chicago area. Almost every weekend, I would take the Metro down to the city and hang out. I found out Gene Siskel had passed away by seeing it in the front page of the Tribune at a Union Station newsstand. During that time, I also spent a lot of time at the Gurney Mills movie theater, sometimes with friends or whatever girl I happened to be interested in at the moment. Sometimes by myself just to kill a few hours. It was there that I saw 4 movies that are linked in my mind. She's All That, Cruel Intentions, Varsity Blues, and 10 Things I Hate About You. All some of the best examples of that era of teenager-centric movies. You guys also missed a recent gem in Rachel Lee Cook's filmography, Spirit Halloween, the movie. I did see that in her, when I pulled up her IMDb, and I did forget to mention that. He says, I will admit, it's not The Magnificent Ambersons. However, it was a silly and fun, kid-friendly horror movie, and seeing her playing the mom role was enjoyable. This commentary was unexpected, but a great trip down memory lane. I know I'm not alone in being excited for whatever you guys are picking next. Best wishes as always.
Oh, thanks so much, Adam. That was, yeah. I talk about listing those movies, Cruel Intentions, 10 Things I Hate About You, Varsity Blues. I mean, that evokes really, such a moment.
They are chain linked together in my mind too.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
So obviously this means that we're going to have to do commentaries on all of those, right? I think that's where this is headed, obviously.
Dude, I'm into it. I'm glad people are enjoying this sort of like, teen, 90s teen retrospective.
I would totally be down to watch like Varsity Blues. Absolutely. You know,
same. The only thing I remember is, I don't want your life.
Yeah. That and Ali Larder's,
of course.
Garment, let's say.
That's right.
Thank you, Adam. Here's a note we got from Alex Naom, who says, "Greetings, gents. You have no idea the joy it brought me to see that you had done a commentary for She's All That. At long last, I've been able to recommend your podcast to my partner. That is by no means a mark against your exceptional taste in films. My partner is someone who has voluntarily watched the Kissing Booth trilogy. Yes, a terrible film, thrice over. She acknowledges that they're awful, but still she subjects herself to them. I've gotten slightly off track, haven't I? I have a special fondness for She's All That, which was released just a couple of weeks after my 11th birthday, despite it monumentally overpromising on the production values for a regular high school. It does. It definitely stands out amongst that extensive bunch of like-minded films from 1995 to 2005. My partner and I regularly quote, "Who are you people?" though we can't do justice to Kevin Pollak's amazing deadpan delivery. During the commentary, my curiosity and attention were had when you mentioned the idea of doing a commentary for 1999's The Mummy. Please, please, please make that happen. I'm very excited about the coming year in film. So many highly anticipated franchise films. I'm very much looking forward to your expert analyses on all of them. Stay safe, healthy, and happy. With kind wishes and regards. Thanks, Alex.
Yes, thank you, Alex.
So The Mummy, Brian, we gotta do The Mummy. Come on.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
He said please 3 times.
You know what's funny? My a guy I was roommates with for a long time, we got annual passes to Universal Studios because it's right down the street from us, and you can go free anytime you want throughout the whole year. So sometimes on a Saturday, we'd wake up and be like, "Mummy? Mummy." And we would just drive over to Universal, go down the escalator, ride the Mummy 3 times, and leave. So it's like, when I think of the Mummy, I have that whole ride memorized.
So it's tied into the Rick O'Connell franchise?
Yes. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Let's do it.
And you know, again, the with She's All That, I had people texting me out of the blue. Actually, Shaz Ahmed, he texted me. He's just like so excited when She's All That came up in his podcast feeder. You know, a lot of people were really excited about it.
We got a lot of feedback about that. It was really very cool. Very cool.
So this is a note we got from Jeffrey Meisner, who says, "Hey, Zachy and Brian, I was listening to the commentary for She's All That, and I was happy to hear Zachy's anecdote about sending Jenna Elfman fan mail with the caricature. I've been off and on collecting autographs through the mail for probably 20 years. In the beginning, I was neurotically embarrassed that the post office clerk would see who my envelope was addressed to and cynically be like, really? Over time, I started to draw on the envelopes in the theory that it would make my letter pop out from the rest, but also I enjoyed the craft of it more than I would admit, so I didn't exactly boast about this hobby. I thought I was already asking my wife to endure a lot of nerdiness without telling her I also decorate envelopes for celebrities. Now in my 40s, I'm less worried about that, and she knows. But nonetheless, when I heard you sent Jenna Elfman a drawing, I felt like, oh my God, I'm not alone."
That's amazing. I'm so glad we brought that up.
He says, "Starved for shop talk about collecting through the mail. I was just curious if you could share any other collecting stories. I thought your post about getting Michael Keaton's autograph after being in the pre-order queue for 15 years was awesome. As far as fan mail, though, did you send any other drawings out? Favorite successes or odd replies back? Some of mine include David Dastmalchian tweeting my envelope It depicts his it's playing cards featuring his Flash character Abracadabra, or the time TV's OG Lois Lane Phyllis Coates sent me 2 signed photos and a handwritten letter, which turned out to be a handwritten bill. Wow. you owe me for these autographs, I guess. It says, by the way, I know this letter probably is too long and or of an overly niche interest to be answered on the podcast, so I won't be offended if it isn't. I was just excited to finally talk autographs through the mail with someone, so I just thought I'd take a chance if you had a moment to talk autos. Thanks. Hey, this is what we do here. We got nothing better to do.
Yeah, we want to foster this stuff. I want more people to come out of the woodwork and tell us the things that they're interested in that overlap.
So Jeffrey mentioned, so I talked about this on social media. I haven't talked about it on the show. So I just received, as of 2 days ago, we're recording this, an autographed picture of Michael Keaton as Batman.
Yes.
And this has been quite the journey, Brian.
Dude, this is an amazing story.
So back in 2009, October 2009, let me cast your mind back, Brian. Barack Obama had been president for less than a year. Jay Leno was about to begin work on his late night talk show, separate from his other late night talk show. Conan O'Brien had just started hosting The Tonight Show.
Wow.
Oh, it was a magical time, Brian.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Anyway, so at that time, again, this is me 3 kids ago. So I had a lot more free time. So this is like one of those things. I used to collect autographs, and I used to send out and whatever. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But anyway, so by this stage, I'd gotten like some pretty big name autographs, or at least a big name to me. And Michael Keaton was definitely one of those things like, oh man, it'd be cool to get his autograph. And I knew he doesn't sign through the mail. Like if you write, you're not going to get anything back, And like this, I should, by way of context, I figured out like a very efficient way of sending out, if you write to them care of such and such, and you send whatever, you usually get something. I had a whole thing figured out. I would send a letter, a backing board, a picture, and a self-addressed stamped envelope, and 3 and 3. So 3 stamps on my envelope going to them, 3 stamps on their envelope coming back to me.
It's kind of perfect. They don't have to do any work, you just open it up. Pictures there.
Pictures there, sign it, boom. And so it was very, I got it worked out pretty well, and I would track it. I had all the letters I sent. I would date them, and when I got a reply back, I would write on the file like received this date. This I had a whole system, and I got some very cool autographs. And in fact, that same year, 2009, I got Mark Hamill's autograph. That was at a convention.
I remember that.
Yeah. And that one is funny because there was like a draw. It was like a raffle. So I got it. But he was charging at the time is $100, which now I'm fairly certain he charges way more.
Probably, yeah.
So I'm actually glad I got that. Anyway, so Keaton, it was like, oh, it'd be cool to get him. So there's this website called Celebrity Authentics, which is honestly, it's kind of overpriced, but they were like, oh, we're taking pre-orders for Michael Keaton. This is 2009. So this is, the Flash is not a twinkle in anybody's eye, right? Nor is Birdman or anything else. And I was like, well, okay, well, what the hell, I'll pre-order it. I didn't even think about it, and so I just did the pre-order, and then I put down whatever it was, right? And relatively, I mean, it was a little more, but it wasn't that much considering. You know what I mean? Using Hamill as like a template.
Sure.
So I just put it down. I forgot about it, and then life goes on. I moved to a different house. I had more kids. Life goes on, and then literally a couple of years went by. I was like, oh, wait a minute, what happened with that Keaton autograph? So I called him up. And they like dig through drawers and blow dust off my order form. They're like, oh yeah, here it is. Well, we're working on it, is what they said.
Okay. And what year is this about? This began in 2009. What year is this?
I mean, it was a couple years for sure. So I'm going to say like 13, 14.
Okay.
And so it became almost like a running joke for me, where every couple of years. So I put it in my Google Calendar, where like February of every other year, there's like a reminder, call them and ask.
Wow. Okay.
You know, and you know, they'd be like, oh, he started signing, but he had to stop. And in my head, I'm like, well, geez, Louise, you know, like, I mean, give me a break. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Anyway, this went, and so it reached a point where they're like, sir, do you want a refund of your money? And I was like, you know what? Like that money, and in my mind, that money's already gone. So at this point, what do I have to lose by just toughing it out? You know?
Right.
Like, I want to see how far this goes. This is kind of my thing.
You're like, I want my elephant.
I mean, it was kind of like, well, the money's already spent, so I can get whatever my pittance, or I get an autograph with a hell of a story. That was kind of my thinking.
And I'm also feeling like at this point, it's amazing that they're offering to return your money and not just calling it off.
Right.
You know, like they're sort of keeping the door open.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Right. So they're like, yeah, do you want to hang in there? Or and I mean, I'm like, okay. So last summer, it must have been like, it was last August. They reached out. They're like, hey, he's on the schedule. It's about to happen. I'm like, bullshit. I'll believe it when I'm holding it.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever you say, you know. I didn't say it that dismissively, but it was pretty close. And then, you know, I get an email like a week ago. They're like, okay, your order is on the way. And I'm like, okay. And I texted you, and I was like monitoring it on FedEx. And this is like funny to me because it's like it was supposed to arrive on Saturday, this past Saturday, and then the FedEx is like, the code was unreadable, so we have to reschedule your date. And I'm like, man, ain't this just like the perfect period on this story, you know?
Yeah.
But by gum, it finally did arrive, and it's a beauty. It looks great, and I do have a story to tell. And
you have a picture of him signing your picture, right? That's your certificate of authenticity.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Now,
15 years later,
by way of perspective, when I placed that order, Miku, my second son, he was 9 months old. He is now a freshman in high school.
Unbelievable.
That's how long this took.
I mean, think about if say he did that in the year 2023, Michael Keaton signed your picture. Like he is signing, so he's only caught up to 2009?
It truly is like the Ringo Starr Simpsons episode, right?
Yeah, yes. Finally opening the
Please
picture.
Excuse the lateness of my reply.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I'm just happy to have gotten it. And I will say, the price has gone up exponentially in the decade and a half since.
But you were locked in.
I was locked in, so
Amazing.
I can't complain too much about it. You know.
Wow. It's sort of like, you know, when people have kids and they're born. As soon as they're born, they have to get them enrolled in school. You know, so they can get into the school. It's like if you want your Michael Keaton autograph, you know, like lock it in now. Maybe you might want it in 10 to 15 years. So do it now.
It's funny because by way of contrast, right? I remember back in the day, these are two of my favorite ones that I got. As you know, I'm a big West Wing fan. So I sent letters to Martin Sheen and Jimmy Smits, both of whom played the president on the West Wing. And I dropped it in the mail on Monday, and it was back in my hands by Friday.
What? Wow.
Like within 1 work week. That's how quickly I got them back. Both of those.
Wow. Okay.
So it's 5 days, 15 years, you know.
Dude, that's amazing.
Caitlin Olsen, I also wrote to her. This was like when It's Always Sunny had just started.
Oh, yeah.
And she too, she wrote a little note on a Post-it in addition to the picture that she sent. Like,
oh, really? What'd she say?
It was like, I loved your letter, whatever, you know?
Oh, that's so cool. You know, it's kind of interesting too. I see on Instagram, for some reason in my algorithm, I'm getting these videos of like Dave Grohl refusing to sign things. And it's like, because it's such an industry now, right? Like these people will hound celebrities and hold up for like Dave Grohl to be like, here's 50 drumsticks.
Yeah, stupid.
And they're going to go straight to eBay and just,
it's
charge up the butt for him, right? So it's like Grohl is sort of like, no, like I know what you do with this stuff, and it's like people are signing things, it seems, less and less. So it seems like if you go through some sort of company or something organized like you did, it's like a way to, I don't know, to have them to do that.
Or, I mean, at the very least, I mean, this is, it's been a while since I was really doing this, but I mean, if you send a nice note and show some level of engagement, like I wrote to Martin Sheen, this was, maybe a year, about a year after The West Wing ended, right? Mm-hmm. And I just wrote a note, I really loved the show and what it meant to me and whatever. And he not only sent back a picture right away, but he sent back my letter with a bill. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
He said he had a post-it on it. He says, Zachy, many thanks for this extraordinary letter.
Oh man, that's so cool.
And so I've saved that too. I still have that.
I was gonna say that's extra special, like a handwritten correspondence.
Special. Yeah. And so that was the stuff, I would do all that. Like I would figure out, Christian Bale is doing a play. So I sent him to the theater that he's doing the play at.
Sure.
Because they're, usually if they're just kind of sitting around, they don't have anything to do. Usually they just go through fan mail. Mm-hmm. So I got 2 pictures back from him. Daniel Craig and Hugh Jackman are doing a play together. I sent to both of them, got those back.
Wow. Actually, that's pretty smart because when I worked for Christopher Guest in the post-production office on one of his movies, we would get like Princess Bride, Spinal Tap, fan mail, and pictures and things to our production office. It's crazy. I don't know how they got that information, but it arrived in my hands. I handed it over. He signed it, sent it back.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like if you make it as easy as possible. So again, you little leaguers, those, if you're looking for advice, send the stamped envelope, send the picture, send the backing board. Mm-hmm. You've cut out the work that they have to do. Literally, they just need to sign it, put it in the envelope, boom.
Yeah.
There's no work,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's got to be the stuff that they really do spark to, though, right? Where there's just sort of, it seems like a genuine fan interaction, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got, Mariska Hargitay, I got Christopher Maloney. I got to go through. I have a whole bunch. I mean, I have them all saved, Yeah,
you should. I know you get things printed sometimes, go through like a printing company. That'd be kind of cool to make something out of all that.
That would be, right? Yeah, something.
Some way to collect it.
Yeah. But that Keaton autograph, definitely, like I said, nice autograph with the hell of a story attached to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never did send any other caricatures. I did that drawing of Jen Elfman, which I still have. I still have that drawing or a copy of it, and I still have the autograph that she signed for me. But never did send anything else beyond that, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, drawing wise.
Exactly. Right. Just a letter.
Yeah. Nice.
Let's take another short break. Come back. We got some trailers and headlines to discuss. And we're back. And hey, you know who else is back, Brian?
Who's that, Zachy?
Why? It's Indiana Jones. I thought he left already.
I thought so too.
Regardless, we're talking about a new video game which takes us back in time to between Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and this is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Now, you are much more of a gamer than I, so I now you've played Uncharted.
Yes, love Uncharted,
and of course The Last of Us, etc. So this is Bethesda. Mm-hmm. And apparently their name carries a great deal of weight in the gaming community.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on all that, but I do feel like, I mean, we haven't had an Indiana Jones game I sort of feel like in the quote unquote like more modern era, right? It's been sort of back in the Super Nintendo-ish sort of days, or maybe some PC games.
There have been some Lego games, I believe, but I think that's about it, right?
Yeah, but like Uncharted with like the later PlayStations kind of became the de facto Indiana Jones game, I think, where we got to play those types of adventures with like a modern character who is like a loving homage to Indiana Jones. And so honestly, it never even had crossed my mind. But when I saw that this trailer drop, that there was going to be this Indiana Jones game, I like day one purchase, right? Except, as far as we know at the moment, it's only going to be available on Xbox and PC. I think there's talk that a couple months later it might be released on PlayStation 5. I'm not like really deep with knowledge in the whole inner workings of that and Microsoft and what they're doing with their games at the moment. But I got to say, I saw the trailer. I was really excited. I thought it felt like the spirit of Indiana Jones. I didn't have the feeling where I was like, well, I've done that with Uncharted, like what you could imagine possibly happening. Yeah. It's like, no, this is Indy. It's the hat, he's going to win. So I'm all in, and I'm really hoping that it does work out where it is released on all platforms. So
so a couple points. I got a PS5. I just got it a couple months ago. I'm not buying an Xbox. No. So like as much as I want to play this, I'm like, I want to play it on the system that I already have. But beyond that, I mean, first of all, Troy Baker, who plays Indy in this, his Harrison Ford voice is amazing.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. He's like locked in some of those like nuanced things, aspects to Harrison Ford's voice. And it just tickles me. It just tickles me.
Yeah. And first, I didn't even realize he played Joel in Last of Us.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, okay, that's impressive. But the other thought is just seeing this trailer, you're like, if this is a good game and if it does well, this is a way for this character to live on that we won't otherwise have,
Yeah, not maybe, maybe it's better than like a TV show or, trying to de-age anybody and, this is the way to do it.
It feels like it, and I mean it's why I was texting you. I just snaked up a whole bunch of these new action figures that they put out in the wake of Dial of Destiny. Right, it's like the 6-inch figures for Indiana Jones, and I was like, well, probably we're not going to get any more mass market indie figures ever again.
Sure.
So I'm like, well. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, this is the end of a chapter, but then you have this game and you're like, well, this is one way that the character continues to exist. And I will say, freaking Disney just stepped on their own dick by not over the last 10 years doing something in this vein before Dial of Destiny. Yeah,
to get people kind of hyped up for it. I mean, that was the thing, right? We're living in our reality, right? Where Indiana Jones is always and forever, but it didn't occur to me, that younger people, unless you have parents showing them the film, they don't have a relationship with this character. So you're right. Like putting out a really awesome game a couple years ahead of the movie might have invited a few more people into the fold,
I mean, maybe if they had put out Death Wish video games, Death Wish 5 would have done better back in 1994.
Maybe.
We'll never know.
Hey, Belly. Bang, bang. I'm like, wait, they made a movie out of that game? That game I love that I rented for my Super Nintendo?
The old guy who kills minorities, usually?
Right.
Anyway, hey, other news. There's some other stuff going on too, Brian.
What's that?
Well, here's the thing. Did you see this George Carlin AI album?
I read about it a little bit.
I heard. I didn't listen to all of it. I listened to, I would say, about 10 minutes.
So what is this? This is like a George Carlin stand-up act that was created by AI, right? So none of this is original material. They've used his voice and AI, whatever software to make up a fake comedy act of George Carlin. Is that what this is?
Well, that's how it was put out there, right? So is put out by Dudesy, which is a what do you call it? It's like a YouTube channel.
Okay.
And they said, "Oh, this is an AI learning program that listened to Carlin's albums and created new material."
Okay. Using his voice. Right?
Using his voice.
Okay.
And so they got sued by the Carlin estate.
Good.
Right. However, what they're now saying is, oh, actually, it was all like we wrote it.
I wondered that if someone wrote what they thought, like the voice of George Carlin was, and then got a computer using all the accrued data or whatever they have of his voice, performing whatever they wrote. So that's what it is, huh?
So well, this is what they're saying. So Dudesy is Will Sasso and Chad Coltkin. Will Sasso, he used to be on Mad TV, and he was Curly in the Three Stooges movie. He's really funny. He does great impressions, by the way.
Yeah.
They're being sued by the Carlin estate, and so the Carlin estate, like this, if it's AI generated, that would constitute one kind of lawsuit. Whereas if you say, oh, it's an impression of George Carlin written by humans, then that is protected, right?
But his voice is not protected? I guess not, right? Is that something we need to think about now?
I mean, I guess, right? Like, wouldn't that constitute an impression?
Man, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if you're taking his albums, literally his voice, like what they intend to do with James Earl Jones and Darth Vader, right? Like he has given approval to Disney to use his voice so they can manipulate it however they want and make new dialogue for Darth Vader, right?
Yeah. This is the equivalent of that. Let's take them at their word and say it's human written. I don't know if that's the case. I will say it was bad. It wasn't very good.
I'll say this. I listened to a couple minutes of it, and not that it was good or bad or whatever, but it didn't sound like, sometimes with AI, it sounds close to a real sentence, but there's just these little awkward things it'll do, right? Yeah. Like, I have to admit, like, it did sound like someone talking, right? So maybe it's that good now. I don't know.
It did. You're right. But it obviously George Carlin's voice is more than his voice, right? It's his approach to humor in forming comedy. And this, you know what this felt like to me? It felt like those, like, Seinfeld, 21st century Seinfeld or whatever, and people come up with their own ideas, because I'm like, this is missing sort of the wit that informed Carlin, number one. Number two, it's presenting like, oh, this is an AI, comedy album. And it's like, yeah, but part of the performance is the presence and interaction of the audience, because, a performer, they present their humor in a way that acknowledges the role of the audience going back and forth, right?
Sure.
Whereas this felt like the pace was off. It's like, punchline, punchline, punchline,
Yeah.
I mean, that's not how comedy specials work.
Well, no. I mean, I've said this before, if we're at the early days of this and it already sounds this good.
Yes.
There's a Instagram account I follow. I think it's called There I Ruined It. And basically this guy, he used to do sort of like mashups, right? So he'd put like a Britney Spears vocal over like some other song and like, look, it kind of works. But now what he's done is, I think, using AI, I think, I'll say, because I don't know for sure, but he'll take like Johnny Cash's voice and have him sing Barbie World, by Aqua.
Okay.
And it sounds really good. Like it's not just like a straight version of the voice. Like it has the like little breaths and the little ticks of Johnny Cash's voice, and it sounds like him singing the song. Like it's pretty amazing. And I know that people have brought this to Congress, to sort of warn in them and say, maybe we need to make some sort of bill against this kind of thing. And I saw that, I think it was this past week, they used his account, There I Run This Guy, and his Johnny Cash Barbie song as an example of how dangerous this can be.
I mean, we're at that stage now. Like a couple weeks ago, there was the primary, the election primary, I think in New Hampshire, and you had like fake Joe Biden robocalls.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "Hey, folks, don't vote tomorrow. If you vote tomorrow, you won't be able to vote in November." And it's like, there's enough people who might get suckered in by that.
Yeah, well, that certainly, and then there's also the scam where they'll take a person's voice and then call their family.
Yeah, right? I've heard of that.
Yeah, imitate a person and say, "Hey, I'm in jail. I need you to send me money so I can get out." And it's one thing, when it used to be emails, right? Because I remember when that was happening, and I had to talk to my grandparents and be like, verify this stuff. If you get an email from me that says I'm in jail, probably not. But now when it sounds like my voice, yeah, I mean, a lot of craziness could be happening in the future.
Yeah, so this Carlin thing, it's funny because the I don't know what the thinking was behind it, but boy, the reaction is almost uniformly negative. The quote that stuck out to me was his daughter, who said to the Daily Beast, "It's not his material, it's not his voice, so they need to take the name off because it's not George Carlin." Right? She says, "The George Carlin in that video is not the beautiful human who defined his generation and raised me with love. It's a poorly executed facsimile cobbled together by unscrupulous individuals to capitalize on the extraordinary goodwill my father established with his adoring fan base." That's cold-blooded right there.
I'm surprised that it was two professional comedians doing it. Like, I could see a younger person or a prankster type person doing this to just try to see what they could get away with, and then going, "Oh, it was me," kind of an attitude. But this feels like, how did they not know what they were walking into?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's it's the Wild West now, above and beyond, AI being a factor. A whole bunch of stuff is entering public domain.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, just as long as we're saying that, I this was like a big thing too along those lines, is that, remember the Taylor Swift deepfake thing too, right? That happened on X.
Yes.
Formerly known as Twitter. So like, speaking of the Wild West, it just feels like, there's just going to have to be all these new protections and laws drafted as this stuff evolves and, as rapidly as it is, right? Like, they're going to have to, I mean, and not to say that this hasn't been happening already, but when it starts happening to the people who can afford, hefty lawyers and hefty lawsuits, that's maybe when things will start to, the protections will actually be created.
Well, speaking of things that are sort of generated by AI, or at least feel like they're being generated by AI, did you hear? Did you see the box office story about the movie Argylle?
I did. I mean, should we say it? Peek behind the curtain. That was going to be this episode, and then we saw the box office of Argylle.
So just to be clear, we don't make our judgments based solely on the box office.
No, 100% not, because sometimes that can lead to a fun conversation. But there were some life factors. I'd also heard a lot of people talking about how they wish they had those hours of their lives back. So.
Plus, I mean, you're in SoCal right now, and you're experiencing sort of Noah's Ark level torrential downpours right now.
That is true. I actually did peek or check in with you last night, and I was looking outside, and I did see the Ark float by, and I was like, Zachy, did you see Argylle? Trying to decide if I actually wanted to put on my floaties and go out there.
Well, and it's the question of, if I die going to the theater, do I want to say to myself, I died trying to watch Argylle? Like, is that
right?
Is that what you want on your tombstone? But anyway, what I found interesting, so this opened to 40 million this past weekend, and you say, all right, well, 40 million, it seems like about right for a movie that probably cost, $25-30 million, probably, right? I mean,
oh no, I would have put this at like 100 something. It looked big.
Based on a trailer, I would have said like 75 million. It felt
Really?
like a movie where it maybe the actors like work for scale or they work for percentage. That's what I would have said.
Not me. This looked like an expensive movie to me. Yeah.
It seemed very niche to me based on the trailer. Based on the 587 times I saw the trailer. It's a lot.
Dude, we
right?
use Apple TV, and it's what comes up when you turn on your Apple TV. I was like, I don't want to see this trailer anymore. I can hear those violins and the little diamond shape opening and Dua Lipa standing there. Like
So I'll stipulate maybe between 75 and 100.
Sure.
Being generous. No. This cost $200 million.
Yeah.
So they spent MCU money to make this movie about a cat, I guess. I don't get. And by the way, MCU movies don't even make MCU money anymore.
I know. Well, that's the thing, right? Where I think we're seeing a lot of those films that were probably greenlit in a different sort of way of thinking when it comes to box office. I am very curious in the next couple of years, what people do in response to that.
Okay. Now, neither of us have seen this movie, but tell me the scenario even 5 years ago where spending $200 million on a movie like this made sense.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't have Kingsman box office stats in front of me, but those were pretty popular, right?
And neither of them cost that much.
That's true. But as they, build Matthew Vaughn in notoriety, and if they are successful, well, then he gets more and more money.
So the first Kingsman cost about $95 million on the high end.
Okay.
Let's see. The second Kingsman cost about $105 million on the high end.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, what is that? The King's Man, that cost about $100 million. So that's if you told me that Argyle cost roughly the same as all three Kingsman movies, I would have been like, okay, right?
Yeah.
Just based on the trailer. No, they spent twice that. To the best of my knowledge, no Matthew Vaughn movie has ever been a smash hit to that extent.
I'm sure they do well, but they're not like runaway $500 million smashes.
I mean, I would imagine that his biggest hit was probably X-Men First Class, and that made $350 million. The Kingsman. Okay, no, I'm wrong. Kingsman Secret Service made $414 million.
Oh, okay.
And so that's his high end right there.
Okay. I mean, I knew they were a hit. I didn't know to what degree.
Okay, so it's 400. So my point is this. So this is it's an Apple movie joint, Argyle. And are they just because between Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, and Argyle, that's almost $1 billion.
Yeah.
When you factor in marketing and everything else.
Yeah.
And granted, it's Apple; they got more money than God. We get it, but I'm not like my brain can't even understand those kinds of numbers.
I would be so curious to hear a candid conversation between like Apple and Bob Iger and all these people regarding their the future of streaming, right? Because streaming is not panning out the way that they had hoped, I think, at this point in time. They're losing a lot of money. But you can see the calculus, right? Where they're like, well, the reason, the way that we get people to come is if we promise them award-winning movies, Killers of the Flower Moon, blockbusters, like your $200 million, whatever they are. Netflix is spending $200 million on those like Red Notice movies and things like that, right? But at the end of the day, I still don't think they're seeing the numbers that they want to see. And so you have to regroup and figure out, well, this is kind of veering into another story with the whole Disney thing and the way that they're going to attack that, which is basically like, forget new stuff. I mean, this is already their playbook, but it's like not even just remakes of things that we already know. It's like, no, just take the hits, only the hits. Toy Story, Moana, whatever is like, Moana, I guess, was the most streamed thing on any streaming platform last year, which is amazing. I wouldn't have guessed that. So now they're making Moana 2. They're like, no. More of the thing that we know is a 100% guarantee, not just name recognition, not just IP recognition. What is a hit, and how can we clone it into another hit?
But what's interesting about the Moana 2 story is that was originally developed for Disney Plus as a series.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Right. So in other words, a couple thoughts. I'm like, so is this another like Aladdin and the Return of Jafar situation?
Yeah.
Because that, for those of you who don't know, that was the first of Disney's like straight to video sequels, but it started as like the pilot episode of the Aladdin Saturday morning cartoon show, and they just stitched it together into a movie, right? So I'm like, are we doing that? Are we just doing that again now?
I feel like audiences are too savvy these days for them to get away with something like that.
Well, they got away with it for a while before people
they
got
did.
Savvy.
Absolutely. I mean, that was like in the DVD, VHS DVD boom days, where it's like parents will just buy, hey, here's Aladdin 2. It doesn't matter where it came from, but it is Aladdin 2 and it has Disney on the front, so here it is. And we watched it because we were kids, But I feel like, I can't imagine a movie they're going to do theatrically that they would try to pull something like that.
Yeah, so supposedly Bob Iger saw the episodes as like, oh, this should be a movie. But I'm like, this is just another indication of how the streaming approach has just been catastrophic.
Yeah, and they're not going to. That's like my whole point. They're not going to let go of it. It's here, for the time being to stay. And so I'm kind of curious to see how they revise their playbooks. And like, going back to the Argyle of it all, I mean, I'm sure for Apple, they're like, sure, spend $200 million because that's a blockbuster on our streaming service that will get people to keep their subscription or subscribe for the first time, which this one didn't pan out.
Yeah, so a couple things. I mean, it tells you that no matter how much Hollywood tries, they can't quite turn Henry Cavill into a butt in seats star.
Yeah, that bums me out.
Which is a shame. It's a shame.
I love Henry Cavill. I want him to be that guy.
Right. But alas,
I'd be kind of curious.
To be yet.
Yeah, no, well, because for me, seeing the trailer, even though I was so sick of that trailer, like I like Henry Cavill, Matthew Vaughn, I tend to enjoy. So I would be very curious if they like polled, people why they didn't show up for this movie. I'd kind of like to know. Maybe it was the premise was confusing, or it's not something they recognized, or they didn't like Henry Cavill's haircut. I wonder why people didn't show up.
I mean, I think we're at the stage now where people know this stuff is going to be streaming in a minute and a half. If they just wait a little bit.
Sure.
And that trailer, you and I, we go to the theater all the time, and we couldn't be arsed to get there, right?
Yeah. I'm the problem.
Yeah, pretty much. You and me both.
Yeah. But it's funny because people keep saying about, the rom-com is dead, right? That's a streaming movie, but it's that Sydney Sweeney movie actually was surprising everybody, right? The Anyone But You. It came out a little soft, but then it kind of turned into an actual hit.
Yeah, because there's nothing comparable in the marketplace right now.
Yeah, I like that though. I think I talked about this a couple episodes ago, but it's reminding me of the old days where opening weekend wasn't what you lived and died by. Like there was an opportunity for word of mouth, give it a chance to grow some legs, and it seems like that's happened for a couple of films at least recently. So
yeah. Well, I mean, in that vein, I mean, on the Disney front, I mean, when they're talking about Marvel stuff, it's like, oh, we're just going to drill down and only focus on the big franchise and whatever. And I'm kind of like, well, what big franchises do you have left in Marvel? I mean,
sure,
right? I mean, like your OG stars are mostly gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Like, okay, you got another Captain America coming out. I'm excited to see it, but isn't it effectively a brand new franchise at this point?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I am curious.
Yeah. Well,
that's it. Go ahead.
No. Well, I think what was kind of I was going to say that there's 2 Star Wars films, right, that they've given dates to now. May 22nd, 2026 and December 18th, 2026. So
this is the new Jedi Order and the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Presumably. I don't know if they actually said what they were, but they just said those are 2 Star Wars dates, but those are the 2 films we're aware of. Yeah.
Well, we know Mandalorian and Grogu is 2026.
Okay.
So I'm assuming, but
which one is, I don't know, but
yeah, and I feel bad. I don't want to talk about Star Wars anymore this episode because people started calling us Waldorf and Statler.
Yeah.
After last time.
Well, let me put it this way. By the way, I am dyed in the wool Star Wars. Like to the day I die. Like, so I will be honest in my opinions as things roll out, but I will always be there day one because I am always showing up ready to love whatever they're going to present. So I'm really hoping I love both these movies.
Just cycling back to what we were saying about Moana, it occurs to me you got this Moana 2, which is I think this summer.
And fall. Then yep.
Okay, so this year, and then there's that live action Moana. Now, that seems like a lot of Moana to me.
Yeah, but if that's if they are just their playbook right now is to just keep giving them the hits, it's like
I think I will be on board if they call the sequel Moana More Problems.
Yeah. I would love that.
I will retract my concerns. Moana, Mo Problems. If they title it that, just plug it into my veins. I'll watch it repeatedly.
Isn't that funny though? I mean, if that is such a hot property for them right now, it seems like you would want audiences to focus on whatever iteration they feel is the most important at the moment. But they're like, we got the animated version. We got the live action version, on ice coming soon, like
it's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't get it, honestly. And I like Moana a lot. I like the movie. I think it's a great movie. I don't see the value of doing it live action other than I'm guessing The Rock probably really wants to do it because he kind of could use like a guaranteed payday. I was going to say guaranteed hit. I don't think it's a guaranteed hit.
That's interesting you say that because when you said I don't see the value, I was like, oh, I see the value.
I think they've burned the live action Disney remakes from both ends. The candle is burnt down to just a stump. I think that they've done with those what they did with those straight to video animated sequels that we talked about.
That totally
right?
agree. Totally agree.
So even like I am like, look, if you're gonna do it, then yeah, obviously Dwayne Johnson should play Maui. Who else could do it? However, am I interested? Not particularly. I think the animated version got it. What else? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and that's coming based on what we've seen before. Like, I don't feel like in the majority of cases it's been additive. So there's really no reason for me to look forward to it. Like, if I love Aladdin, I love Aladdin. Actually, this past week, I was like, I want to watch Aladdin again. But I don't know why I would go to the live action one. I want to watch the Aladdin. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because they have this Lion King prequel coming out. To be honest, that I'm kind of interested, mainly because Barry Jenkins is directing. But the premise of having it's like young Mufasa, that's kind of interesting to me.
See, that's why I feel differently about that because it's a different story and it's in a world I know and love. Great.
Yeah.
But I like that it's not just let's make another version of the Lion King.
Yeah, which is that one especially. I just that offended my sensibilities. That live action one, quote unquote live action.
I couldn't bring myself to watch it. I love the Lion King, but I just never felt like hitting play.
It's so entirely forgettable.
Yeah,
it does nothing that makes it substantially different from the animated one. All it shows is why this is a story that's better told in traditional animation.
Sure.
That said, while we're talking about franchises, Brian, here's another one that's coming back. Oh boy, I'll bet you thought you were done with Jurassic Park movies.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, foolish child. I knew better. I knew as soon as they said the end of the Jurassic era. Remember that? All the advertising for Jurassic World Dominion, which by the way was a massive hit when it came out. Whatever it was, 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. Wait, it can't be. No, 3 years ago. What was it? What years? No, 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Wow.
Because it was like it was one of the first movies to get back to filming during the pandemic.
Mm. Wow.
And so it had the benefit of being one of the first blockbusters out the chute.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I said wow because I was looking at Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
29% Rotten Tomatoes. I was trying to see what fans said about it.
77% audience score.
Okay.
So that tells me that audiences basically were fine with it, which it proves my theory. I've said this all along. When it comes to Jurassic Park movies, they're graded kind of on a curve by audiences.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's funny. The upper 70s feels about right because it's like, well, we didn't really love it, but dinosaurs.
You're right, and more than that, it's one of the few guaranteed like family outing franchises.
Sure.
Right, and I think that's the magic trick with them is like above and beyond like the intergenerational thing. It's just like families can go. And kids like dinosaurs, adults can tolerate these movies, and that's how they work. Every single one of these 3 new ones has made more than $1 billion.
Wow!
Amazing. Right. So I had no illusions about them stopping, even though this is the end of however they framed it. Right. Mm-hmm. That said, I didn't think they'd be back in the development chute so quickly.
No, because makes sense. I didn't realize the last one made $1 billion, and it's like, yeah, of course there's going to be another one.
I mean, I thought they'd wait maybe like 5 years, not naively,
Yeah.
Because 265 million. Okay, so Jurassic World Dominion cost 65 million more than Argyle.
Wow.
That seems
shameful.
Weird to me. Yeah, but it made 1.04 billion. So I believe it's the least of the 3, but still, $1 billion is $1 billion.
Billion's $1 billion.
And guess what? There is a whole bunch of merch and lunch boxes and everything else, right? So I mean, this is a behemoth. We know that, but like I said, I mean they've got the next Jurassic movie on the calendar for next summer already.
That is wild.
Right? And so that tells me that this movie is further along in the development pipeline than I think anybody realized.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I mean, they'll have to be shooting it pretty quickly, yeah.
Now the script is going to be by what's his name? The guy who does all of them. Yes, thank you. David Koepp. However, I'm curious what the angle is because they're like, oh, this is as of deadline. They're like, it's a completely fresh take. I'm like, well, how? I mean,
yeah.
What does that mean?
I was gonna say if it has park in the title, you would assume it has to do with the theme park, right? So it's
but they're calling it a Jurassic World movie. They're not calling it Jurassic Park.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, interesting. Well, David Koepp, he was there at the beginning. Made my favorite one, so I'm in.
See, I think they should lean into the John Wick of it all. Have Keanu Reeves playing the main character. Call it "I'll Kick Jurassic."
It's
in. It's just him jamming books down dinosaurs' throats and choking them on there, and I don't know what's going on. Doing kung fu.
That might wind up being then my second favorite Jurassic Park movie.
There you go. I've said this to you before. You know what? I will always be an easy lay for the Jurassic franchise. It doesn't even matter. I don't need anything to be what that first movie is. I will always enjoy going to them. And I if nothing else, I know that whatever it is, a year and a half from now, I'm going to be in the theater with my kid, my oldest kid. He'll be 18 by then.
Wow.
right? So he's just grown up with these movies,
It's amazing. Well, I'm into it especially because I feel like with the last three, the Jurassic World series, I liked the first one just fine, but I felt like I liked the following ones less and less. And I never latched on to those characters, right? And it has nothing to do with the actors. I like the actors and other things, but I just never was endeared to the players. And so them saying, okay, we're going to go to a different area or we're going to do something else with the conceit of dinosaurs, but we're starting over, different people. I'm like, all right, great. Let's try again. Let's do something else. So
that's true. But now they're not expecting Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard to come back. That said, I am like, well, you can't just like, you have to acknowledge those characters in some way, right? I mean, it's not like a reboot, I don't think.
Yeah, that's why I'm so curious where it takes place, when it takes place. Yeah.
The road to development of Jurassic World is littered with abandoned premises of like dinosaur human hybrids and weird stuff like that. And I'm almost like in the mood for something nutty like that.
Right.
Like, why not?
Yeah.
At one point, John Sayles, I believe, wrote a script, which was really bonkers. And I feel like, well, we've done the people running from dinosaurs premise a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind shaking up the Etch-a-Sketch a little bit and seeing what happens with that,
Yeah. No, I'm open to it.
So as we wrap up this episode, I did want to make sure we mentioned some really sad news. We've had a couple of passings lately that I wanted to make sure we acknowledged on the show. First of all, Tom Wilkinson died, Brian, and we're a little late on this, but how could we not talk about Tom Wilkinson? He's one of the premier Hey That Guy actors.
Mm-hmm.
The Full Monty, I think, is where he came on a lot of people's radars, at least in the United States. But he's in The Name of the Father. He's in Rush Hour, which I'm fairly certain Rush Hour is the first time I like clocked him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's the villain in that, but he's also in The Patriot.
Yep. Michael Clayton.
Michael Clayton, he's terrific in that. Shakespeare in Love.
Wow.
What are some of the other? Oh, Eternal Sunshine. I forgot he's in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh,
Valkyrie,
yeah.
he's in.
Wow. Yeah.
The Green Hornet.
The Green Hornet. Wow. I forgot about that.
He's in The Green Hornet. He's in The Lone Ranger. He's in Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol. That's what I'm saying. Like, he was one of those guys you just put him in for like a scene, literally a scene, mm-hmm. and just his presence does the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like literally in our Batman Begins commentary track, as soon as he shows up, he's Falcone. I was like, this guy's a treasure. He's just a national treasure, or international treasure, I should say.
Yeah.
And he passed away at age 75, which does seem young to me.
Mm-hmm.
Youngish.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
December 30th of last year he passed away, and I wanted to mention that because his presence will be missed. I already know that.
Mm-hmm.
Just whatever he brought, but in that vein, I also wanted to mention the passing of Carl Weathers, who just died this past week at age 76,
which was so surprising to me. I just had thought about it, but he was so active still, right? He was in The Mandalorian. He was directing episodes of The Mandalorian. He was
directing, not just The Mandalorian. He was directing episodes of the Chicago shows. And yeah, he's appearing on screen regularly. And just every time you saw him, whether it was on screen or in interviews, he had this energy, this vitality, right?
Oh, man. Yeah. So lovable. Obviously, Apollo Creed and that charisma.
Right.
And
this one hit me hard. I got to admit it really, because part of it is because and me, I've been a Rocky fan since I was just a little teeny tiny,
Mm-hmm.
So in that respect, Carl Weathers has been part of my life all my life, and not just in the Rocky films, but Predator, and just all the other stuff. And whenever he would show up, he'd be like, "Oh, good, good."
Happy Gilmore,
when he,
Chubbs,
Chubbs, exactly.
Tap it in.
Yeah. He starred on Chicago Justice a couple of years ago, and he was the but he was at level in terms of where he just had to show up for a scene or two, and he had that gravitas with him. So very sudden, and then you realize, like, above and beyond the fact that we're not going to see him on our screens anymore, and he was still a continuing character on the Mandalorian. We're not going to see that anymore, unfortunately. But it's the ancillary thought is that we're going to hear this more and more now.
Yeah. Yep.
Because
our beloved figures in culture.
Right. Exactly, right? Because whether you're talking about Sylvester Stallone or Harrison Ford or Arnold Schwarzenegger, all these people are in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the I mean, this is just something it's just comes with getting older, obviously.
Yeah.
But sort of having these staggered reminders of mortality,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the people that have kind of always been there. It's kind of a weird, jarring thing. Yeah. The people that have been there for so long, and then to lose them. Yeah, like you said, it's sort of a reminder of mortality.
Yeah, always been there, and certainly Carl Weathers was just sort of part of the landscape in the best way possible. It's it was reassuring whenever we'd see him. He was, by the way, and it's getting a lot of play now, which I'm grateful for. But when he would show up on Arrested Development, so funny,
so good, yeah, hilarious.
Oh my god, the clip again. It's I love that people are suddenly discovering it, which is hilarious to me. When he'd be doing the stuff with Tobias, and the don't throw those bones away, you put them in a broth. You got a stew going, baby.
yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
But a real, like, the measure of his presence can be seen in the fact that an entire franchise was created as a response to his character. Right?
Yeah, Creed.
Like the Creed films were 3 movies deep and beyond. Carl Weathers isn't even in them, but those movies exist because of the power that he embodied.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so they're a reflection of his outsized persona.
Yep.
So he will be missed, a true presence, and I don't think we're ever going to see, his like again. I made an appearance on Rick Shu's podcast, Friends from Work, earlier this week, and I said that he kind of emerged at a time in the 70s and 80s when Hollywood didn't quite know what to do with him. They were trying. He wasn't a dramatic actor. He wasn't an action actor. He was both. And they didn't, they tried to put him in a box. And so between Rocky and Action Jackson and Predator, I don't think he ever got a platform to truly showcase his talents. But I think he was a remarkable presence, even when he was and that just showed everything that he was capable of.
100%. Well put.
With that, as we bring the curtain down on this episode, Carl Weathers and Tom Wilkinson both will be missed. But we have more shows to do. We'll be back soon. We'll be talking about Madam Web before long. I have to.
Yep.
Well, don't give the game away yet. For all we know, we may end up loving it. Who knows?
Yeah.
That seems doubtful, but you never know. But I have to admit, it's been one of the amusing sidelights of my last couple weeks is seeing clips of Dakota Johnson making the publicity rounds in support of Madam Web and seemingly dying slowly with every question she has to answer about this movie.
I know. We were talking about that earlier, but it seems like people want to provoke a little bit or prod a little bit just because people have been having fun with the trailer, and I feel bad for her having to sit there and be like, look, I didn't sign up for this.
Although she kind of did.
Well, sure. But hey, you know what? That's the ethos of our show is we want everything to be good. So I'm not feeling great from the trailers, but I want to go in there. I'm going to go in with an open mind. I want to be surprised. I want this to be good. So let's see what happens.
Hey, we're going to be like Thelma and Louise. We'll be gripping our hands as we go over that cliff.
Yes.
But hey, you never know. Like I said, we are watching that next, and we'll be talking about that in our next regular show. Will we get a commentary out between now and then? I don't know. Maybe. But regardless, we got lots more movie filming coming. And if you have any questions or comments for us, you can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. If you're looking for me online, I'm on social media at Zachy's Corner. That's at X for the time being. I'm still posting there, aka Twitter, because screw Elon Musk. It'll always be Twitter in my heart.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you feel like you still need to add that afterwards? Like whenever you say X, do you feel like you have to follow it up with?
I kind of do, I do, yeah. But I'm also on Blue Sky, which is now open for everybody. For a while there, it was just invitation only. And I'm on Threads and whatever. So Instagram, whatever. Look me up, I'm there. And if you send me a message, I'll usually say hello. Brian, what about you?
Man, stuff I've written is out and about. You got, let's throw it back a little bit. Puppy Dog Pals. I was thinking about that show this week and how much I loved working on it. And you can find those episodes on Disney Plus, and Young Jedi Adventures, a Star Wars series, is on Disney Plus and Disney Junior.
Well, there we go. On behalf of my partner, Brian Hall, my name is Zachy Hassan. This has been Movie Film 284. Catch you next time. Thanks, folks.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.